Is it possible to be coming and going at the same time? Well, that hardly seems likely. In Matthew 20, verses 29 and 30, we read this. And as they were going out from Jericho, a great multitude followed him. And behold, two blind men sitting by the road, hearing that Jesus was passing by, cried out, saying, Lord, have mercy on us, Son of David. But then we read this in Luke 18:35. And it came about that as he was approaching Jericho, a certain blind man was sitting by the road begging. Now, was Jesus approaching or going out from Jericho? You can't do both at the same time, or can you? Just to add a little icing, Matthew had two blind men and Luke only has one. Is this a contradiction? If it is, then we don't have to listen to the Bible anymore. Let's start with the number of blind beggars. Luke does not tell us there was only one beggar. If I told you my mother was in a wreck yesterday, how many people were in the wreck? You don't know. You only know that my mother was in the wreck. If I tell someone else that my father wrecked the car yesterday, was he the only one in the car? You don't know. In Mark's account of this event, he only tells us of one and actually names the beggar. Neither Mark nor Luke are telling us that there was only one. It's quite possible that their original audiences knew the name beggar and the other was irrelevant to the story being related to them. To say that the number of beggars is a contradiction is actually a smelly piece of foolishness, a dead fly, if you will. But what about coming and going at the same time? Surely we have to admit that this is impossible. Well, actually, no. There are a number of explanations, and I can't tell you which for certain is necessarily correct, but that it is explainable makes it possible. Let me give you my opinion on the matter to explain it. In the first century, there were three sites that were designated as Jericho. The first was the ancient site destroyed by Joshua, which was unoccupied in New Testament times as far as we know. The second was about 2 miles southeast of the ancient site and is the location of modern Jericho. The third was built by Herod the Great west of that location. It's known today as Tulu Abu el-Alayik. I probably mispronounced that. Sorry. The simplest explanation is that Jesus was leaving the second Jericho and approaching the third, since he was on his way to Jerusalem and would have been headed from east to west. So Matthew was calling out the second location, while Mark and Luke were calling out the third. Rather than make fools of ourselves by calling something a contradiction, maybe we ought to investigate a little further. I just hate it when someone tries to drop dead flies into the perfume. Don't you?